Hello everyone, this is Dawn here, Twin Hearts Ablaze. Thank you very much for being here. I trust that you are doing well. It is Sunday, November the 19th, 2017. And this video, actually I'm recording an audio, and I will post this on my YouTube channel. And this audio is twofold, really. It's one, it's actually for me to capture it for myself and just have a record of it. But also, I feel that what I'm going to describe to you, it's something that I feel is a message that I meant to relay or pass on to you. Most of you who have connected with my videos in the past know that I have a deep connection with Yeshua, Jesus, and that comes both from my personal journey in this life, and also from a deep connection that transcends time and space. And this particular audio is going to be focused on something that's been sort of a process for me in the last 6 months. And again, I just feel that I meant to share it with you, so that's what I will do. So a little context. Back before, it was early summer, I believe, when this started. Probably, I was trying to pinpoint the time, and I'm thinking it was somewhere around late May, early June, when I started having this recurring experience that was, I've had all kinds of emotional reactions to it, but just because of my own unique journey. But what the experience was that I kept hearing, like, echoing, and also it was the echoing of this statement from Yeshua that is recorded in the Bible, in actually one of my favorite passages, which I'm going to read to you in just a moment. This phrase kept echoing for me, and it was as if when I would hear this echoing, I very much felt the presence of Jesus right there with me. And often this would occur when I would be just going about my day-to-day activities, and this journey, or the particular person who is my divine counterpart would come to mind and heart, and I would hear this phrase. And the phrase is, "Greater love has no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends." And so when this first started happening for me back in late May and or early June of last year, frankly, it was a bit disturbing because I did, I'm very accustomed to, hearing, feeling, seeing, receiving messages from Spirit. But this particular one, at the time that it started, felt like, wait, let's put the brakes on. I don't really want to die, and it was, for me personally. I'm going to share a little personal nugget here, because for me personally, what was happening was I have had connections in the past with professionals, spiritual counselors, and other sorts of professionals 3 different times in slightly different language, but essentially I was told the same message, which was that, because I was in all 3 cases, I was talking about my work and my purpose, and what's frequently called mission, and how I felt that I had failed the cause, and it wasn't happening, and I was feeling very defeated about it. And in all 3 of those various connections that happened, most of them several years back, the third one was about 2 years ago, and all 3 individuals, all 3 of whom I had a positive connection with and trusted, told me that it was all intentional. That in the first case, I was talking about how I waited 12 years to share something I knew that the Spirit gave me, and I felt like I could have, had I shared it earlier, maybe it would have made some difference. And in all 3 cases, anyway, the message for me was that no, it was absolutely in divine timing. and that it was intentional, the process that I went to share what I was given to share. And I was told essentially that I might have been killed had I shared it earlier. And I don't know, it seemed a little far-fetched for me, to me in a way, because like, well, we're not, in the witch-burning times, and I don't know, I just never quite understood that. So fast forward to, I began hearing this, phrase over and over and over again: greater love has no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends. And so in a positive, and more uplifting trajectory, that of course called me back to the the life of Jesus, and the fact that his love was so great when he walked this earth. His love for humanity, but not just humanity as a whole, but each individual person. Each beautiful representation of the divine flow of life here on earth was so great, that there was no end to that love, and there was no limit to it. And in a sense, some of those who were involved in the ending of his life were looking for that limitation. Where is the end of it? So that was when this started occurring for me, that was the positive, is that it called me back to that, and deepened that relationship in my own personal understanding of the life that Jesus came here to live. And then on the more, on the parallel, when I would look at it in terms of, when I would hear this echoing in my mind, and heart, it wasn't just my mind, it was definitely a spiritual message, and I would hear it echoing, and I would, again, be called back to, like, well, what does that mean? Like, I don't want to die for this. And, so there was like a lot I was working through. And then, as the months went on, and I just kind of got used to this, and I thought, well, Spirit will reveal to me what I'm meant to see in divine timing. And so we fast forward to about the time of the August eclipses, and then the big eclipse on I think it was the 21st of August here in the United States in North America. And there was a shift that occurred for me. I began to, again, I wasn't really thinking about or analyzing this, but I began to just in my body come to a deeper knowing of what that was, and I understood just sort of intuitively that it was a much broader than I was making it. I was initially, when I began having this experience, I was thinking it was all about me and my connection, and so there was a subtle shift that occurred, and I began to just kind of relax and trust more. And a couple more months went by, and last month there was a particular day where there were lots of synchronicities for me. It was in October, and I just mind-blowing, one of those mind-blowing moments that many of us have had, where we suddenly see how all of these threads or various aspects of our experience or our unique journey were by design. Some of the craziest things that happened that seemed completely illogical and completely maybe productive at the time, actually had it was just one thread in this unique, beautiful tapestry, the timeless tapestry of truth that we are always co-creating here. And so I had this moment, and on this particular day, when there are tons of synchronicities, and this just really beautiful knowing that I had about my own journey on this path. on that same day, I heard this again, just kind of rising up from within me. Greater love has no man than a man lays down his life for his friends. And it began to feel much more collective than it had in the beginning. Again, in the beginning, I just sort of took it as a direct, because I'm accustomed often to, this has just been throughout my life, a way that Spirit uses to get my attention, I suppose, is, sort of this direct little anchors that get dropped at various times, and sometimes they are, repetitive until I, come to understand the deeper meaning. And so, and on this day in October, when all of these insights were happening for me personally, I just experienced such a deep and overwhelming sense of love for, all that is, and for myself and the journey I have made, and for my divine counterpart and the journey that he has made, and for others with whom our lives have intersected. And I just could see the ripples and the waves, and I think this was occurring for many of us, or at least those of us who are I guess, who come from the original template, twin flame template, in terms of the way that journey has played out for many of us. And so, so there was this depth and this deep, deep love, and a sense of how our willingness to be with the process, whatever that process looks like for us individually, has and is contributing to the collective healing of humanity. And it's this alchemical process that is really magical and really beautiful, and yet it requires a willingness to lay one's heart on the line and to be present, regardless of the costs at times. And so I was really feeling all of October a deep sense of connection to, my own heart, and sort of an honoring of that process. I believe I mentioned that in a video somewhere along the lines that I posted. I didn't post all the videos I made in the last 2 or 3 months. I just felt I've been really feeling more of a co-creative kind of process with that, and a more being more intentional about what I share. It may look a little silly at times, but it is purposeful, in my heart and what I'm shown. And so in October, when what I was going to say is, I think I shared in one of the videos that see what you have done, see this journey that you are making, that you have made to this point, whatever it is, and whatever choices that has led you to. Whatever choices you decide are the ones that feel good for you in the moment, that it is a gift. It is a gift, obviously, to you and your journey here, but it is a gift, because when we are discerning and seeking to follow the highest, truest path at any given fork in the road, so to speak, then be in the willingness to do that. That in and of itself is a gift to the collective, and it does contribute something of inestimable value. And without it, without our own, each of our commitment to that, to light and life and love, without that commitment to walking in the way that, as we see the way of our life unfolding, and being on the way, and without that, something is lost, and we we collectively do not have access to the levels of, or I don't even want to call them levels, the expansiveness of the light and life and love of God. And I do choose to call that God, but, spirit, life, that the eternal truth of who we all are as one in that love. And so never underestimate the contribution you have made. It's something that, I think is the whole point of why this phrase was echoing for me, because it's been, it's been a difficult ride in many ways, and for me, my heart is so connected to, what I have under my understanding of the offering of, one's soul gifts, that and my sorry, I'm staying taking care of some dogs, and there's a bird here in the background that is just squawking away. So maybe this part's important, huh? So in this passage I'm going to read to you is from John chapter 15. I may have shared it before. It's one of my favorites, the Gospel of John in itself, but in particular these chapters 14, 15, 16 are very meaningful to me personally. And Jesus is saying, "This is my command: love one another." And it begins about the vine and the branches. And so I'm going to just read the entire chapter here. And here is John chapter 15. This is Jesus talking, and he says, "I am the true vine, and my Father is the gardener. He cuts off every branch in me that bears no fruit, while every branch that does bear fruit he prunes so that it will be even more fruitful. You are already clean because of the word I have spoken to you. Remain in me as I also remain in you. No branch can bear fruit by itself. It must remain in the vine. Neither can you bear fruit unless you remain in me. I am the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. If you do not remain in me, you are like a branch that is thrown away and withers. Such branches are picked up, thrown into the fire, and burned. If you remain in me and my words remain in you, ask whatever you wish, and it will be done for you. This is to my Father's glory, that you bear much fruit, showing yourselves to be my disciples. As the Father has loved me, so I have loved you. Now remain in my love. If you keep my commands, you will remain in my love, just as I have kept my Father's commands and remain in his love. I have told you this so that my joy may be in you, and that your joy may be complete. My command is this: love each other as I have loved you. Greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends. You are my friends if you do what I command. I no longer call you servants, because a servant does not know his master's business. Instead, I have called you friends, for everything that I learned from my Father I have made known to you. You did not choose me, but I chose you and appointed you so that you might go and bear fruit, fruit that will last, and so that whatever you ask in my name, the Father will give you. This is my command: love each other. If the world hates you, keep in mind that it hated me first. If you belonged to the world, it would love you as its own. As it is, you do not belong to the world, but I have chosen you out of the world. This is why the world hates you. Remember what I told you. A servant is not greater than his master. If they persecuted me, they will persecute you also. If they obeyed my teaching, they will obey yours also. They will treat you this way because of my name, for they do not know the one who sent me. If I had not come and spoken to them, they would not be guilty of sin, but now they have no excuse for their sin. For whoever hates me hates my Father as well. If I had not done among them the works no one else did, they would not be guilty of sin. As it is, they have seen, and yet they have hated both me and my Father. But this is to fulfill what is written in their law. They hated me without reason. When the advocate comes, whom I will send to you from the Father, the Spirit of truth who goes out from the Father, he will testify about me. And you also must testify, for you have been with me from the beginning. So that was John chapter 15. And I think I'll just leave it there. Just such beautiful words that Yeshua spoke. And, love one another. That's what it comes down to. Love one another. Greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends. And we are friends. Each one of us that is on this journey. Throughout the months, I guess it's been a year or two, since I chose to speak, since I chose to create videos and speak in terms of this unique aspect of my journey here in terms of sacred partnership. And I've noticed that, as is true in our world in so many places, there can be a real disconnection from one another, and also a little bit of sniping and criticism, sometimes overt and sometimes more subtle forms of that. But we are here to be his disciples. We are here to walk in the way of our lives and to shine our own unique light, divinely given gifts, to share those fine gifts of original design with the world. And we are all walking that journey in very unique ways, but we are one people. And we are here to love one another and to model that for a world that needs that more than anything right now. So I hope that you see how your perseverance and your dedication to your own journey is such a gift, and it is a great love. And we no longer, because Jesus lived and chose to not place any conditions on his love for any person or for the whole of humanity, because he stood fast in his commitment to love without condition. We are freed from the end that he faced. And yet we are, as we walk forward in love and as we come into greater union within ourselves and lay other things aside for the cause of love. And when we become the causeway for love. We are laying out a path. We're rolling out the red carpet for others to walk into the experience of life, to live in full expression and to know the true meaning of love. And this is his command, that we love one another. Many blessings, much love. I wish you a beautiful month ahead. This is, we've just come through the new moon and we're moving into a month period here toward the latter half of November and into the middle, really the middle of December and on to the solstice, which is the 21st of December. And this month will be, it's very pivotal. And whatever decisions you are making for your own journey, I wish you well and I wish you love. Take care.